And today on Stitchless TV, we're going to make a bit of a mouthful, dropped crotch jogging pants. Now you see these ones? Here I've used silk. I've just used a silk and I've put ribbing on the waistband. So you can use stretchy fabric or not stretchy fabric for the main part, but you have to use stretchy fabric for the ribbed waistband. These are a pair. I bought a dress from Target, that cheap shop in America, and I loved the material, but I didn't like the dress. So look what I did here. The dress was wide enough in the hips, cut an arch out of the bottom, added a waistband, but look here, this is where I put a seam at the front so I could thread a drawstring through. So the first thing that you need to do is take your biggest measurement, which is for me, my big bottom. Okay, and then you need to halve it. Now what we're going to do is, we're going to lay it, not in the centre, but just a bit to one side. So say my biggest measurement was 50, for example, and I'm just going to chalk that out. Now look, you don't have to do this. This is an optional extra. But I've never understood why, when people put side seam pockets, they have them as separate pieces of material. Look, you can just do this. So a pocket looks like this. Look, don't be scared to do this, because if it doesn't work out, you can always lob it off. But look, it just looks like a little doggy's ear or something. Now, on trousers, it's always, and skirts, where the waistbands fall at the front, it's always a bit lower at the front. Now with these dropped crotches, I find that you need to come down at the front, what's that, by about 3 centimetres at least. Otherwise your dropped crotch is really, really dropped. So it's up to you how dropped you want your dropped crotch to be. Now I like mine to be about 30 centimetres. I don't like it too dropped, otherwise I feel a bit silly. I'm just roughly chalking it all out, and you know, I'll keep correcting it. So like I changed my mind about the size of the crotch there. I'm changing my mind about the width on the leg. So I'm making adjustments as I go, and then when I'm ready, then I'm going to cut it out. Right, so now the waistband. So what you've got to do with that is, you put it around wherever you think you want it to go. So I'm going to pull that tight, because it is stretchy, and roughly work out how long I need to cut it. So I'm going to cut it about there. So remember, ribbing is any stretchy material. It could be an old t-shirt, an old jumper. So I've cut my ribbing to size, all nice and tight around my hips and my waist. So I'm just going to put that to one side. And the first thing that we're going to do on the trousers are the go faster stripes. Now, when I apply the Go Faster stripes, they're going to go onto the right side of the front. So I've separated my 2 pieces of material, and I'll just show you what's going to happen. I'm going to unravel my beautiful Go Faster stripes, and basically they get applied onto the fabric like that. And the easiest way to hold it in place, I think, is with very thinly cut Bondi web. So for this particular tutorial, it's going to go either in front or behind the seam, but not actually on the seam, because I've got a side pocket. So what I do is I get regular Bondi web, which is normally 3/4 of an inch wide, and I just cut it really thin so that it's sort of hardly there. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it now on the iron. Okay, so this is the front, the right side at the front, and I'm going to bond the Go Faster stripes that much away from the edge, because that's going to be my seam allowance. Look. So I get the iron, got the Bondi web underneath, just on one side, give it a bit of a steam, you see, and then I just do the same on the other side there. And I just continue all the way down. When you get to the bit where the pocket is, you just keep going the same distance away from the edge. You keep going all the way up to wherever you want it to finish at the top, and press. Okay, and then you cut off like that, And then you've got to do the same on the other side. I'm on D, which is a straight stitch, and I'm sewing about 2 mil away from the edge. Now look, you may think this is just any old Go Faster stripe, but I can assure you it isn't. It was €18 a metre because it is from one of the oldest haberdashery shops in Paris called Ultramod. Look at that, and they just sell fabrics and haberdashery just going back years. So now we're going to put our front and back right sides together because we're going to start stitching up our side seams. So I'm going to put them right sides together, and the first seam that I'm going to sew up is the one that doesn't have the pocket on it. And I'm going to sew, if you want to have a look, I'm going to sew just outside of the stitch line from where my Go Faster stripe is. So we're still using D on our mini JL, and it's a straight stitch, and I'm just outside of where I can see the stitch line of my Go Faster stripe. I'm just going to trim it. I've done that straight. See how far away I was from the edge of the Go Faster stripe line. Now I'm just going to trim it back a little bit so when I zigzag it, it looks neat. Right, so now we're going to zigzag that edge. That means we have to turn it to F on our machine, and so we've zigzagged our edges. It's nice to kind of chop off all these little fluffy bits, but I'm probably going to go around and do that afterwards. So do you want to have a look at what we've done there? So look, I'm going to press it now with the iron, pushing my seams towards the back. So I've pressed my seams towards the back. Now I've got to put it right sides together. Now we're going to be dealing with the pocket now, okay? But don't worry, it's very, very easy. So if you just listen to this, we've got to sew, we've got to line up our pocket all nicely, and we've got to sew from here, centimetre seam allowance, coming down, and we're going to stop about 3 centimetres down. Then we're going to start about 2 centimetres up from here, and we're going to go all the way down, and then that gap will be where we can put our hand in. I'm going to turn it to D, my straight stitch. I go backwards and forwards there, and then just go straight up just outside. So I've gone straight just outside of where I'd stitched this Go Faster stripes on. So you line everything up, you make sure it's all really well lined up, and now we're going to sew from about here, backwards and forwards, going straight all the way down like we did on the other side, a little bit away from the edge of our Go Faster stripe stitch. We've left a gap, haven't we? Have a look. We've left a gap here. So now what we need to do is sew from the little edge there of where we stopped, coming all the way round, around the edge of our pocket, coming back to where we stopped in the beginning there. See how I've stitched all around it? I will be pressing it afterwards, but what I'm going to do, because my fabric is really fraying, yours might be okay, I'm going to trim it all back a bit, and then I'm just going to zigzag it. I've just stitched up that other seam with the pocket, gone all around the pocket. So now I just want to show you this. You push that pocket in, you just press it as if the pocket isn't there. Look, I'm just following the line of the Go Faster stripe. Look, and I'm just pressing, pressing, pressing. But it's got a little gap in there. What a fantastic way to do a pocket. So now we've got to stitch up the crotch. So all we have to do for the crotch is we put it right sides together, and we just follow all around the seam, leaving our seam allowance. But do you know what? It's a good idea to start at the centre of the crotch, go down, and then go back to the centre and go down the other side. So I'm going to do that now using a straight stitch. Right, we're getting there. So this is it the wrong way round. I've stitched up that crotch. See that? And now I'm going to turn it the right way round, because to press it, you do seem to have it the right way round. And you basically just press the arch into shape. So I'll be pressing it with the arch all out like that. And actually, by the way, if you do get a bit of pulling, you might need to snip into that arch a little bit. So, see, look, it just comes out all nice. And then I can press it, look, really easily into a nice arch. Look, that's what we've got so far. They're so nice. So now we're going to do the waistband. Now, do you remember we cut it so it was nice and tight? It was nice and tight around our waist or hips or wherever we're having it. So you've got to put it right sides together, open it out, put it right sides together, and you're just going to stitch a seam allowance straight down like that. So I'm going to do that on a straight stitch on the machine. So it's a good idea to press the seams open, and then you've got to fold it all over. See, look, it's starting to look like the kind of ribbed waistbands you get on jogging bottoms, isn't it? So you fold it all over. Probably quite a good idea to press it like this as well. So I'm going to do that. And then you need to do notches to signify the front, the back and the sides. There's a notch for my side, notch for the other side. Oh, if I can cut through it. And then I need a little notch here to be my centre front. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to line all those notches up. Now I want, in this situation, I want the seam at the back. Sometimes I like the seam at the front and I leave a little gap to pull drawstrings through if I don't want to do eyelets. But in this situation, it's going to be lined up with the back. So I'm putting it over the trousers, lining up the back, and all I do is stretch the ribbing to fit the trousers. So look, there's my side notch. I'm going to stretch that until it reaches the side seam there, which isn't very far actually, and then stretch it to the centre front and stretch it to the next side seam. So I'm going to do that now on the sewing machine using a small zigzag. So a small zigzag on this machine is G. So you put it under. I've got a seam allowance of about a large centimetre, and I'm going to pull the ribbing and knot the trousers, lining up the side seam with the notch. See, look, there's a bit of slack. There's a bit of slack in the trousers, but when I stretch it, it will fit. So off we go. Well, that was a big thick bit. So I'm using a small zigzag because I need it to be able to stretch, okay? Because the waistband is stretchy. So when it stretches over my hips, it won't break, the seams won't break. Oh, that's so good. Now look, what happens is, when you press it, all these little puckering bits, they all go away, okay? And it falls like that. Now you might have seen, have you seen any of my other videos like the high-waisted leggings? I use this sort of waistband all the time because it's a really easy waistband to do. So take a look at my leggings video and maybe my miniskirt video. I like mine really long and narrow at the bottom, but I mean, you have it however you want. Now it's nice to finish off with a twin needle, or you could just get away with just a straight stitch. But when you do your hem, it's a good idea to press it first. Isn't it great? And the waist, do you like my waistband? So if you want them to be baggier, then you just basically make it wider at the front.